Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to TZM Plays Ocarina of Time. It has been some time since I last played. I am still within the Goma boss arena here, ready to go into the little teleportation spot right there. Oh, you don't know that yet. Spoilers. So to exit the dungeon every time we finish a boss makes it a little bit easier for us so we don't have to backtrack all the way out, especially since this room closes off on you. As I had mentioned before, there's that trick some people do where they will go through the doorway that you start at. Oh, right over here, yeah. Go through the doorway, but this wall right here stops you from going backwards. They don't want you to leave the room while it's still active. So they will either jump through at an angle, I can't do it, or they will reset and come back in here, and this door will be open again. And then after that, they do some interesting item usage, and then time themselves before going through that doorway back that way that we came in through, and that teleports them to the end of the game. Or not the end of the game, but just before the final battle with Ganon. So let's go ahead and go through the teleporter like we're supposed to. I'm gonna get all floaty now and go talk to our good friend, the Great Deku Tree. See how he's doing. Well done, Link! Great Deku Tree's got a voice to him. I love that he's able to talk even though his mouth's open, but he's a magical creature. I doubt he, obeys the laws of reality or physics or whatever. Thou hast verily demonstrated thy courage. I knew that thou wouldst still be able to carry out my wishes. Yes, we totally killed the thing that was in you. Good. Now, I have yet more to tell you. Wouldst thou listen? Now, this is one of the few moments in the game where it actually takes control of when you press the A button to advance. Just after this, after it zooms in on his mouth here, it goes into kind of an automatic scrolling mode. Now listen carefully. A wicked man of the desert cast this dreadful curse upon me. You know what? That might be just the scene when they're talking about the goddesses. I don't recall. Because here's Ganondorf on his dark horse. We've already seen this man in the earlier scene with Link. He likes fire. This evil man ceaselessly uses his vile sorcerer's powers in a search for the sacred realm that is connected to Hyrule. For it is the sacred realm that one will find the divine relic, the Treeface, which contains the essence of the gods. Ah, the essence of the gods, like everyone knows. Okay, so this is the scene I'm talking about. So yeah, there's no A prompt. Just scrolls automatically. Before time began, three gods descended upon the chaos that was Hyrule. Hyrule was just all messed up. They were like, we gotta change this. Look how messed up it is. You got Din. She's all like, man, power. Naru, the goddess of wisdom. Faror, the goddess of courage. Now, I remember way back in the day when some of the first Game Shark stuff started coming out in Game Genie. Before that, people were able to activate a kind of corrupted version of the world that had a few different instances of some beta material, some information that wasn't in the main game. And what I mean by that, I mean like, I believe this is a Goron area here. Some things like screen changes that didn't make it into the final build. Because a lot of times with these games, especially back in the day that it was these older games, it was easier to leave stuff in and make it you unable to access it normally than it was to take it out. So a lot of stuff will still be in there. Like if you use a Game Genie or Game Shark or whatever, you will be able to find a lot of the test rooms for Ocarina of Time and test rooms in Mario and some of those other games. So they were able to go into certain areas and everything would be kind of corrupted. Things would be a little weird. If you go to certain areas, you would crash the game. But one of them was you would go into an area and there would just be one of the goddesses and they would be gigantic. Now, I don't know if normally when they do this scene that they are, in fact, gigantic and they are just making them look smaller. Might be easier to do. I don't know. They're simplified models, so I wouldn't think it would make sense to make them huge, but that might be just the effect of the actual the fact that you're pulling something into a scene that shouldn't be there. Thou must never allow the desert man in black armor to lay his hands on the sacred Triforce. Well, I got bad news for you. Spoilers, but that's going to happen later. Thou must never suffer that man with his evil heart to enter the sacred realm of legend. Bad news again. That evil man who cast the death curse upon me and sapped my power. Because of that curse, my end is nigh. Oh, great Kokiri, no. Thou your valiant efforts to break the curse were successful. I was doomed before you started. Oh. Then that's something I question. Then why did he ask Link to go in there and fight that creature in order to stop the curse? Like, it makes me wonder if the creature itself, if the monsters in there were just manifestations of that curse, because they're obviously of some kind of magical nature. But Goma and the different variations of Goma have shown up in multiple. They're a boss. They're a mainstay in a lot of the Zelda games. There's almost always a Goma. And I just wonder if that's just how the curse that was put on the Deku Tree by Ganondorf, like, showed itself. Like, that's how it took a physical form in order to combat Link. But like, we see, like, the Deku Babas and all of those and Skelettolas. We see them around. I mean, are they also just parts of that magic that are showing themselves to you in that way so you can combat them? I don't know. Do other characters see these monsters? I don't know. I mean, could that be what makes Link special? He's the one that sees the monsters and can fight them. Do, the innocents of the Kokiri, do they even perceive these creatures? They themselves magical in nature. Either way. Yes, I will pass away soon, but I do not grieve for me. I have been able to tell you of these important matters. The reason why I asked that is, going back to it, so Deku Tree asked him to go in there and go do this. I'm assuming the reason why he would do that is because Deku Tree is still connected to the forest in some way. So I believe it may have been because he feared his own corruption by the curse. And now that Link has, like, he has been holding off his death because he himself had some major connection to this forest, and if he died while that curse was still on him, it could potentially spread. But then again, later on, spoilers, when we see it in the future, the Kokiri Forest is not doing well. But that also is because it's right next to and connected to the Forest Temple, which said that the ancient evil curse is coming out of as well. So I am under the assumption that the only reason he sent Link in to do that was kind of a test, but mostly so he can defeat that creature, so then it wouldn't kill him and then spread its evil into the forest, which we've already been told is the source of all life. Which that could have been, that single-handedly could have changed things. That could have been horrendous if that creature, if the curse had been able to spread. If I'm taking this literally, which I am, and he said that the Kokiri Forest is the source of life of Hyrule, that could be something that corrupts all of Hyrule. Now, we potentially see things later on that are much worse, but it's not just a simple thing that Link did right here. He could have saved a lot of people, and they just don't know it. This is Hyrule's final hope. It's you. Link's just like, man, sorry, that you had a lot to say. I had to sit. Also, the perspective here makes Link look like a giant. I never noticed that until now. That's kind of funny. Go now to Hyrule Castle. There thou will surely meet the Princess of Destiny. And I'm sure you guys won't accidentally make things worse than they already are, so good luck with that. Oh, green flash. And now we get the first of the 3 spiritual stones. Continuing A Link to the Past, the method that it started, the pattern that it started, because the first 2 Zelda games didn't have this pattern, and I believe, yeah, Link's Awakening didn't as well. The pattern of find 3 stones or objects, and then halfway point in the game, plot twist, whatever, and then you've got the actual temples. That's like, it's almost like that's when the real game starts. And usually you get the Master Sword right afterwards too. And, you know, Majora's Mask didn't follow that, but Wind Waker certainly did, and so did Twilight Princess. Now, Skyward Sword, they specifically said they didn't want it to be like that, so they changed it around a little bit, but there are still some things similar. And I'm actually recording this after E3 2006, or 2016, sorry, and we've seen some information on the new game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I believe it's called. And it looks like it's completely changing the mold, and that's really cool. So, you got the Kokiri's Emerald. This is Spiritual Stone of the Forest, now entrusted to you by the Great Deku Tree. Another question I have is, who's saying this? Is it just to you? It's saying it to you, or is it saying it to Link? I'm assuming it's Navi, but it could also be just some kind of omnipotent narrator. I don't know. I don't know. The future depends upon thee, Link. Thou art courageous. Navi the fairy, help Link to carry out my will. I entreat ye, Navi. Goodbye. And unfortunately, the Great Deku Tree, the guardian of the Kokiri Forest, has passed away. Let's go to Hyrule Castle, Link. Goodbye, Great Deku Tree. So, now that that curse has been lifted, he can die in peace without destroying all of life. Also, see that? The game kind of popped in already. Oh, and it's popping in that sign. That Mido, or Mido, friend of mine who also commented in the last video, Bikun, said maybe Mido, because Midori, or Midori, I'm not very good with Japanese pronunciation, means forest, I believe. So it might be kind of a pun. But also, if you've played any of the older Zelda games, you know that Mido was a character in, and he doesn't let us pass. It's just like when before he won't let us pass. Was the name of a town in Zelda 2: Link's Adventure, or Adventures of Link. Hey Link, what'd you do? The Great Deku Tree, did he die? How could you do a thing like that? It's all your fault. He doesn't understand what's going on, but he fades away. Interesting. I like how he immediately just blames you. So, here comes an interesting point. I've always kind of argued this point. There's really nothing going towards it, especially since we have revelations of who Link is later on. But specifically, there's a sign here that says, "Forest folk should not leave these woods." And it specifically means that people will die if they leave the Kokiri Forest. That's not good. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop here for now. But, we will continue. We will go forth into Hyrule. We will get an item from Saria. She's no longer at the house if you go take a look. Let's go take a look. I don't think she's there. Red Hood. Let's go see if I get a rupee. No rupees. Yeah, she's not over here. She used to be over here and just be like, hey, get going. Do your thing. She's not there anymore. So, and of course, since she's different looking than the characters, all the other characters here, she, like this guy, she's a main character in some way, so you will see her again. So, for right now, this is TZMHero, TZM Shizm, whatever you want to call me. And this is Ocarina of Time. And the next time, we will go to Hyrule Field, and maybe even meet Zelda. The Princess of Destiny. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.